Hi everyone and welcome back to Oceanicos. Today I'm taking you to a unique place where wildlife education and conservation come together, the Coffs Coast Wildlife Sanctuary. In this episode I'm joined by Maicee, who works there, and she will guide us through the incredible work being done here. So put on your headphones, take a deep breath of salty air, and let's dive into this new episode of Oceanicos. Hi, Maicee, and thank you for being with Oceanicos today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to learn more about you, your work, and the Coffs Coast Wildlife Sanctuary. Could you briefly introduce yourself and the sanctuary to our listeners?
Well, I'm Maicee. I am one of the animal carers here at the sanctuary, and I work mainly with the rehab animals, so all of our turtles. The Coffs Coast Wildlife Sanctuary is a non-for-profit organisation that works in rescue rehabilitation of different marine life, as well as educating the public on all aspects of a facility like this. So sustainability, rehabilitation of animals, rescuing, educating the public on the animals themselves. So we do a wide range of things here, but so we are one of the only facilities on the North Coast that can do this type of work. So we are, I think, pretty important to not only to the Coffs community itself, but the ecosystems that are around here, because they do heavily rely on us for the rescue and rehabilitation, especially of the turtles.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
And personally, what inspired you to work in this field, and more specifically in a wildlife sanctuary?
Well, I was always a bit of a nut about animals since as a kid. I grew up with dogs. My dad was a Navy dog trainer for a fair while in his Navy career. And so I grew up with dogs my whole life. And then I became a bit of a nut and wanted to do marine biology when I was younger. I think I remember I was in year 5 and I was like, this is what I want to do. I then kind of developed into kind of just want to work anywhere. And I then did 2 years of uni and found it wasn't for me. But then I did a bit of research and I found that TAFE actually runs a Cert 3 course with the sanctuary. And I've been coming to the sanctuary since I was about 5 years old when traveling through. So when I saw that, I was like, 100%, that's what I'm doing. And just through learning, working, doing placement here, I just found this is where I want to be. And working under Tigger and all the staff here, you just learn. I learned so much and found this is what I want to do. And I've got a real passion for it. I think personally myself, but I do. And it's just being able to share that is what I found is my favorite thing with yourself or people that come in every day, just talking about what I love and sharing that love with other people. And I think that has really made myself pretty happy. And I know there's still so much that I want to do, especially in this field. It's everything's just kind of come full circle for me. But I've always loved it. And it's just made my love grow, especially working here.
Yeah, I also love being with animals.
It's
so relaxing.
So much easier because they can give you so much, even though they're not speaking English like myself. But learning about their behaviors and their autonomy and things like that, and just how you can you can have a full conversation with an animal just based off their behavior. And I love that. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, really. I think so. Do you have a typical day working in a wildlife sanctuary?
Yeah. It's a bit full on, but I think the full on work's the best. My days when I'm working is pretty on the go, but I think that's what makes it really exciting, because things can change and you're great, got to think about that now, and it's awesome. So generally my day would start at 7 o'clock in the morning, bit of an early, but we're getting used to the early days. But we do love, so we start at 7, and then generally from 7 to 9 it is preparing, cleaning all the habitats, preparing the sanctuary for guests to come in and enjoy it. And then 9 o'clock, we'll generally have a big team meeting so we can kind of see what's going on for the rest of the day, organize everything, kind of plan who's doing what. the rest of the day is mainly focused on our presentations and the animals with the guests. So on my shift, we'll generally do our solitary reefs and our rehab talk. So preparing for that, kind of getting everything we need. So any of the diets, any equipment that we might need, like prongs and things like that. And then we'll also do the presentation. So making sure that all the information's there. If we have to adjust, we're getting that prepared and to adjust for that. And then the afternoon is basically just cleaning everything up, maybe feeding extra diets that need to be fed. So turtles get fed two times a day. So we will do an off-public feed just to allow them to have a bit of food without people having a look at them. Yeah. So it's nice and comfortable for them. So that's what that afternoon is. And we also can work help the other staff. So we're all pretty big team here. So we try and work where we can. So it's generally a 7 to 4 day. But things can change, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, so a lot of it is working around the animals and their needs. So lots of cleaning, making sure that we're, especially with rehab animals, so they can come in with things like diseases and parasites that wouldn't be the best to have in the sanctuary. So making sure everything's clean, washing towels, washing tubs and mats and things like that. So lots of cleaning, but I think you learn to love the cleaning when you work, especially me. I love it. I think it's just so calming. You can clean everything and just have a bit of time to yourself. But it also means that you know that it's all well and good for the next person and for the next lot of animals that come through. Yeah. Oh, it looks like it's different each day, but at the same time, it's the same each day. So. Yeah. So there's cool. A very outlined plan, but we're kind of taught that like that can change at the drop of a hat, and that is just before things like a new turtle might come in, or this turtle's getting released, so we kind of have to do habitat changes for the turtles, or just like we might have a big tour in, so we kind of have to adjust for that, or do different things like that. So it is very much a drop of the hat, but we all find it very enriching when something like that happens. So we're always ready for it. That's great. And I have a last question about yourself. I'm a bit curious. Is there an aspect of your work that people don't think about or don't realize, but that is really important? I think like just the preparing and working as a team, like it is very much not an individual person. Like it is very much relying on the other staff to get everything done, because sometimes you just have so much stuff on and you kind of do need that help. But also just the amount of hours that we put in off the clock. Like we're so passionate about this, the facility and the animals here, that we are 100% willing to come in on our days off, stay back after work, come in early to help the facility run and for the animals to be in their best welfare. So I think a lot of the time, I think some people don't really understand that it's not just the 7 to 4 that we're only here. Like we're here whenever we can to try and help. So a lot of off hours, but I think for me personally, it's not about what I get paid at the end of the week. It's about that these animals are in the best welfare, and I'm also learning, and the guests are learning what they need to. And so it's a lot of off hours, but I think we all love it. I think it's more than a simple job. Yes. It's not your simple 9 to 4 in an office. Yeah. Very much so. So there is a lot happens behind the scenes just to plan a day. Yeah. A very simple day, but there's a lot of planning that goes in from everyone. Yeah. But that's what we love about this job. It's what we love. Yeah. Thank you. And so now let's move on the rescue work. Yeah. So that you are doing with wildlife. And this is such an important part of the sanctuary's mission. So one of our listeners, Emma, has a question, and it is, what types of animal do you most frequently rescue here at the sanctuary? So we mainly see turtles. So we can have any various sea turtles that come in, mainly your green sea turtles and your hawksbills. They are the ones that we see come in most commonly throughout the year. And we can get up to 200 turtles a year, sometimes more, sometimes less. It does vary. Yeah. But we do see mainly turtles come in. And at the moment, we're actually doing muttonbird season, which is, there is a species of seabird called shearwaters that come off Muttonbird Island. So this time of year, they are fledglings. So they're going off and to fly to the Philippines, but the lights on the jetty, kind of affect that season, because they kind of rely on the moon to go off the island, but the jetty lights are confusing them. So at the moment we're getting muttonbirds in as well. Okay. So we do that rehabilitation process and then release. So mainly turtles, and then this time of year it is muttonbirds as well. But we attend various different mammal rescues, whales, dolphins. I think Tig had a pelican the other day. That we rescued. Can also be like stingrays and things like that. So it does vary every day. So that's, like I mentioned, it can change at a drop of a hat. We could have a new animal we've never had before or something new. But it is mainly turtles, and we do work a lot with developing our rescue and release procedures and our rehab procedures. But yeah, and I love rescuing turtles. I think it's one of my favorite parts of the job.
They're really cute.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So a lot of animals and typical.
Yes. Lots of various animals, which I think it keeps your day pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Because then you just learn so much. Like, I've personally never been able to be up close to a pelican. So when we did have that rescue, I learned so much about the species, and that also helps me educate the public that if they were to see a pelican that needs rescuing, what they can do to help out as well.
Yeah. And those animals that come here in the sanctuary, what are the main threats that they are facing in a way?
So with turtles, there is something that's called float syndrome. So unfortunately, float syndrome is a little bit unknown. There is no real definition for it at the moment. It is theorized that it could be from excess pollution in the water. So mangroves are really amazing filters for the oceans especially. So we are thinking there could be excess pollution that is affecting that filter from the mangroves. And so that pollution is also now affecting the seagrass. So the turtles that we get in are mainly juvenile, so around the 10 to 15 years old mark. And at this age, they are eating more seagrass than seafood. So unfortunately, that excess pollution could potentially be affecting that food source. So when they come in, they've got a build-up of gas in their stomach. And what that means is they become buoyant. So they sit on the top of the water surface and they can't dive down for food. That buoyancy can also kind of do a domino effect of injuries. So that float syndrome means they can't get away from predators really easily. They also can't get away from boats. So we do see a lot of turtles that come in with boat strikes. So they can have pretty extensive injuries to their carapace or their shell, flippers, heads. And there's also the fishing line entanglement. We do get a lot of turtles that have either ingested plastics or it's like wrapped pretty tight around their throat or flippers. So there is pretty extensive research going into that float syndrome, but at the moment there's no real, this is what's causing it. So which is why doing this rescue program is really important, because we can assist with that research. With turtles that come in, we might be able to send off some data. We do extensive records every day for all animals, especially the turtles. So we can send that off to national parks, and they can use that data for research. So that float syndrome is being researched by various different groups and scientists, but at the moment, unfortunately, there is no cure and such. But we do have a pretty extensive rehab process to help get rid of that float syndrome for all the turtles.
Wow. And that leads me actually to another question from another listener, Elori. And she asks if you have noticed an increase in the number of turtles, for example.
Definitely. We have seen an increase of ingested plastics. It has always been a problem, unfortunately, but we are seeing a lot of the time turtles are coming in with ingested plastic, which can cause the blockages in their stomach, or they've come in with the fishing line around their neck or their flippers. So we are seeing most of the time they do have some sort of plastic ingestion or entanglement, which can lead to that float syndrome. So we 9 times out of 10 our turtles come in with float syndrome, and generally all of them will have it, and then that's what the the domino effect of the injuries come in, and they'll have extras. So we do have a turtle in care. His name's Striker at the moment, and he does have a really big boat strike on the back of his carapace from that float syndrome. So that's just that is a pretty serious injury. They are generally can be a little bit less, or sometimes even more. We've had some turtles, unfortunately, that has full cracks in their carapace or missing flippers. So it is the plastics in the ocean is definitely getting worse. There is a lot of kind of initiatives to try and help clean up that plastics, but unfortunately, it is pretty extensive and it's a pretty big job. So it is going to take everyone to try and help make it better.
It is really linked to human activities again.
Yes.
And speaking about human activities, how is climate change impacting your work?
Well, we see with like a lot of like with turtles. So when they're born, they are in a little nesting chamber in the sand. So that sand temperature actually determines the sex of those turtles. So warmer sand means females, cooler sand means males. So unfortunately, with the increased sand temperatures, that could mean that more females are being born, and there's just not enough males to have those offspring.
Yeah.
And even then, 1 in 1,000 turtles will survive from being born. So with those increasing sand and water temperatures, it is pretty hard to determine, especially with turtles that are endangered, like what that population is going to be in the future. And there's not enough to have breeding pairs. So even the water temperatures, like you can see in Antarctica when the ice caps are melting, there's a lot of polar bears and things down there that are being affected like that, and we see it up here. So I mean, we got a cyclone here not that long ago. So and obviously, and you don't see that very often. So that is, it's all kind of a big kind of, or everything's reacting to each other. So we see a lot of that with the turtles, unfortunately, just with the risk of that population with the global warming.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Yeah.
For them. Do you work in collaboration with other conservation rescue or organizations?
Yeah, so we have a pretty close relationship with National Park. So we work with them for all of our turtles, turtle releases, turtle rescues. We also work with wires as well, and flora and fauna. So they help us. Someone might contact them, and this member of the public might have found a turtle on the beach, and they didn't. They called wires, and they can contact us. So we can send one of our amazing volunteers out to go help that turtle. We work a lot with national parks, especially with like vet checks and things like that with the turtles, because they have a lot of data, and they can also tell us and give us advice as well, because they've got a lot of experience with turtles. So we work pretty close in tandem, and even with the mutton birds, we work very closely with national parks. There's the amazing Lindy who comes in and helps us run the program every year. So national parks and wires are very, very close partnerships with each other.
Yeah, I really think that collaborations and sharing works is really important for the conservation and rescue work.
Yeah, because we can teach each other so many things. So like national parks can also work, they might get an animal and might contact us for advice if it's something that they don't know. And we can do the same thing. So they might have someone that works really, really closely with a certain type of species of bird, and we might not have had that experience before, or it might just be we might need a little help, so we can call them and they can give us advice, come in and check the bird for us. So we do a lot of work with it's really important for us as well to have those connections.
Thank you. Let's now talk about your work in the field. You shared with me the story of a sea turtle named Nikki, who was rescued and then released by the sanctuary. I think that it's a story that really illustrates the impact that the sanctuary can have. How was Nikki when she was first spotted and reported? And what condition was she when she arrived here?
So unfortunately, when we got contacted about Nikki, she was found on Boambi Beach, which is just pretty close to us. So when she was found, we saw that she had pretty tight fishing line entanglement around her throat and her front flipper. That did mean that front flipper unfortunately had exposed bone. So a lot of that flipper was missing, and there was pretty extensive injuries in the exposed bone. And she also had a lot of barnacles on her face, and also had that float syndrome. So she was in pretty rough shape when we found her. So when she was brought in, she did have to go through a bit of extensive rehab before going on to her next stage of rehab, which is getting that flipper amputated. So when she first came in, we did do extensive checks, made sure everything was okay, got rid of the fishing line where we could, and also made sure that injury was nice and clean because we didn't want it to get infected.
Yeah,
So she was pretty small, but she wasn't the smallest turtle. So we estimated roughly 10 to 15 years old. She did have a lot of fight in her, and she did fight very, very hard. But it was pretty shocking to see. You don't see many turtles in that state or condition. But so the fishing line and the net and the flipper was pretty serious, and we knew that it's going to take a lot of work to get her back to a stage where she was able to be released.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking to hear that. Yeah, especially when we know that humans are causing this.
Yeah. So it's pretty shocking to see that us as humans can contribute that on a contribute negatively to these animals. And especially because like you see these turtles in the wild and they're so beautiful, but then you can see them when they're on the beach and you're like, I just don't understand why it has to be that way. Like there's so much humans can do, like just such simple things that they can do to help these animals, and it doesn't have to be anything extensive. You can just be putting your fishing line in when you're done. But a lot of people just don't. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You mentioned she had surgery. Could you tell us more about the veterinary care she received? What type of surgery and how long did it take?
So Nikki came in in January of last year. So she did go through a rehab process. We had to get her to a point where she would be able to survive that surgery. So she did go under anesthetic to remove that flipper. So we did have to get her to a point where she was physically strong enough to be able to go under. So that was a lot of relaxation for her, just getting a lot of rest, making sure that she was eating what she needed to also build up some of that energy. Once we saw that she was at the point, we worked with national parks to get her to have a surgery, and so she went up to Woolly Veterinary Clinic, and so that was about a month into her care. So when she went under, she got that removed. So she got amputation surgery. So it was fully removed.
Yeah.
And that was to ensure that her future in the wild was going to be successful. We do find that a lot of turtles with three flippers actually survive and thrive in the wild. So we found that was going to be her best point of call for that survival, because that risk of exposed bones for like infections and things like that. So having it removed and having it nice and clean and was just going to ensure that survival for her future.
Yeah. Okay. That's an amazing work. How long did she stay here before being released?
Yeah, so she came in on the 6th of January in 2024, and then she was released on the 3rd of April this year.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Oh, the 6th of April, sorry. So she was in for over a year, which is can be kind of the average time. So turtles can be with us anywhere from 3 months to over a year. Yeah. So it does vary. It's just like humans, we all get better at different rates. So it's just like the turtle. So she was a bit of a special case because she did have that surgery. But she was it with us for over a year. So we did come to love her, but we were all so excited to see her go home. It was a big event. We were all so excited when we found out she was going home. We were like, oh my God, we're all going to be down there. I was lucky enough to be able to run that day and run the release. So I was thrilled to see her go. And she swam off so quickly, and I was so happy for it. And the footage after, I nearly cried. I was so happy with how it went. And she just as soon as we took her out and she's realized the ocean was there, she was flapping. She was rearing to go. She was so excited.
Yeah, because I think working in a wildlife sanctuary, your goal is to release animals in the sea.
Yes, we always, whenever we have a rehab case, our best case scenario is then to go back for release.
And that's where we can see how strong they are, because after having a surgery, after losing a flip, she can go back to sea. So
it was pretty amazing when we were all kind of talking with each other as a staff, and we're like looking at photos of when she first came in to when she was released, and it's like it's a different turtle. She looks so different. She looked so beautiful when she left. Her carapace was all, we gave her a nice little bath, a nice little scrub, make her all nice and pretty. And so when she was released, we just couldn't believe the change, because when you're kind of working with them, you see them every day, you don't notice the changes until you can do the comparison of the first and last day. And we were just so happy that when she was released, and she swam off so nicely. Just so happy.
Yeah. And today, are you able to follow up where she is? Or
there is devices available where you can put on turtles that do track their movements. We don't do that here at the sanctuary, but National Parks requires us to do tags. So there are metal tags generally in their front 2 flippers. Nikki does only have the one. So if she were to come back in care, she would have that tag on her flipper, and we can use that number to see if she has been with us. But at the moment, we just hope that she's thriving.
Yeah.
So we hope that she's gone out to the Solitary Islands, which is a protected marine habitat, that she could have gone wherever she was happy to go. But we hopefully don't want her to come back.
Yeah.
That means that something could have gone wrong. We want her to stay out there and have a...
It's better if she stay in the sea, far away from us. Thank you. So stories like Nikki's really show how important it is to raise awareness about all those things that can happen to animals.
Yes, I think with being able to see Nikki, a lot of people I don't think, when you live, so I'm from the Blue Mountains. I didn't grow up on the beach. I didn't see turtles for most of my life until I came here. And so I think when people come in and see these animals in person, they kind of create that connection. Like, if I put my rubbish in the bin, this animal is being saved. Like that rubbish in the bin could then prevent that turtle from swallowing that rubbish. So it helps create that connection for members of public to see what everything that they're doing in a sustainable way is helping these animals. Yeah. So it is very important for us to be able to involve the members of public with care and release and everything.
And that leads me to another question from Clara, and she was asking, what kinds of educational programs do you have here?
Yeah, so we focus heavily on educating the public is what helps people learn what to do with sick and injured animals. So we run various different programs for schools and for kids and also for adults and things like that. So we offer a volunteer program. So we will run a volunteer workshop for anyone that wants to get involved with us at CCWS. And that is a full day of learning how to rescue and release turtles, how to rescue marine mammals, different procedures that we've got to go through to make sure we're nice and safe, but also the animals are safe as well, and what to do if we see an animal, what to do if there's one needing help. And so we offer that for adults that want to get involved with us. Once they do that course, they can go on and help us with rescues and releases and come into the sanctuary and help us with our rehab area as well. For kids, we offer various school holiday programs. So we've got ACE, which is animal care experience. They can come in, spend a day with one of our staff members and learn about different aspects of the facility, like caring for the turtles or for any of the other animals that are here at the sanctuary. But we also do trainer for a day, so that's learning how to be a marine mammal trainer. And so all these programs help educate the kids, because they're the ones that are going to be in charge in the future.
Yeah, that's the future.
Yeah, they're the ones that are going to be educating and releasing and rescuing and taking care of the animals. So they're the ones that we like to try and get involved where we can. We try and make it really fun for them, and also have that education behind it. So there's always a reason of why we do things, but we like to do it in a fun way, because we think that the kids just get more involved that way. And definitely. I'm the same. If something's boring, I'm not going to be listening. I'm kind of just going to be like, yeah, okay, I kind of get it. But if I'm involved, I'm learning how to do it. I'm learning with other staff members. I'm like, yes, 100%, let's go. So I think that, we really value education. Yeah.
I also had the opportunity to educate kids back in France.
Oh, lovely.
And showing them like actions are definitely better than just words for them. So
definitely.
Incredible. Beyond rescue and education, I know that the sanctuary is also deeply committed to protecting the environment. What initiatives have you put in place to reduce your ecological footprint?
We're all about sustainability here. So we are constantly trying to figure out new ways to do sustainable practices. So we, with our rehab area, we use a lot of towels. And so we will take donations. We might use research. Some staff members might bring in old towels, and that just helps give them another use. And so we also have a pretty extensive waste program. So we try and educate the public of what to do with their waste, what bins it's supposed to go in, when it's and how to dispose of it properly, especially like plastics and things like that. We also have a lot of different programs for food waste. We work with our cafe to figure out the best way to access food. So we're not wasting anything. So we're constantly researching. All of our staff members love to have a look at what's going on, what's the new best thing, see if we can implement it. If it doesn't work, we then can update and kind of change it to see what works best.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for a sanctuary to show this part. Because it shows to everyone that it is possible to do both, to rescue animals, but also to be like kind to the planet.
We have a pretty big program called Seal the Loop, and now it's a program that has bins all along our coastline, and it encourages people to put their discarded fishing line in that bin, and that means that when we go and collect it, we can then get rid of it in the most sustainable way, which means it's not going back out to the oceans and affecting the turtles like we saw with Nikki. So that Seal the Loop program, we really endorse that. So we have logos all around the sanctuary, but we also incorporate that into a few of our presentations. So we kind of explain, this is what it means, this is how you can help, and this is what it does. So we do heavily have a few different programs for everyone.
That's really good. And that brings us, to the end of today's conversation. And it is really inspiring to hear how the Coffs Coast Wildlife Sanctuary not only focuses on animal rescue, but also on making a positive impact on the environment. So thank you so much, Maicee.
Thank you so much for coming in and learning. I think just yourself helps us get our name out there, which also can help us bring in more guests to come in and learn, but also can help us extend maybe for different things in the future, like more rehab areas, more rescue hospitals. So, I mean, you yourself just coming in is amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in this episode of Oceanicos. A big thank you to Maicee and the team at Coffs Coast Wildlife Sanctuary for sharing their time, their passion, and their commitment to protecting Australia's unique wildlife. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to follow Oceanicos on your favorite podcast platform. And stay tuned for the second episode with the Coffs Coast Wildlife Sanctuary.